and now Norway is known as number one in the world for wealth and well-being. I'll talk to you about how Norway has expanded and how it's grown in the recent years. So, in this PowerPoint, we will delve into the intricacies of Norway's population and further study whether Norway will reach a carrying capacity or continue to grow exponentially. We see that the data table of Norway does not model an exponential regression. It models more of a linear or logistic growth because the graph shows from 1950 to 2010 a growth of about 1.5 million, which is not that much compared to other countries in the world. And I'll show you in upcoming slides why it's not that much and what can we do to improve. This is just the data that we collected on the previous slide in a Excel spreadsheet. And we chose to graph it to provide a visual for you, and it looks like a linear graph, but it's going to be a logistic graph where the crude birth and the crude death equal a zero population growth or just a slight population growth per year. This equals a ZPG, zero population growth, which affects your natural birth rate, which is your MBR. And so these all contribute to where you are on the demographic transition model. And I'll talk about how the population of Norway is affected and will be affected in the upcoming years. So, I modeled the graph of Norway with a logistic growth model and an exponential growth model. On the left, you can see a logistic growth model of Norway, and it shows you that the carrying capacity of Norway will reach around 9 million. And this is a pretty good representation because Norway has many physical features that restricts its population. And on the exponential growth model, we see that there is no carrying capacity and the population will keep on growing. What's wrong with this model is that all populations will reach a carrying capacity at one point. So even China, that's growing exponentially right now, will reach a carrying capacity. So every country will have a logistic growth model. It just depends how long will it take until their graph looks like a logistic growth model. And so yeah, Norway's graph is looking like a logistic growth model already, where there is a carrying capacity at y equals c divided by 1 plus ae to the negative bx. Okay, so based off of the data that was provided from the United Nations World Population Database, a logistic regression function was found. Okay, so uh, after plugging in the data into the calculator, we found the logistic regression on the calculator TI-84, and the function was y equals 8.967 divided by 1 plus 1.7768e to the negative 0.0546x. Now, this explains to us many things. It tells us what the carrying capacity will be at y equals 0 and y equals c, and then it shows us that c represents the limiting value of the output. So whatever the output is going to be restricted by c, or the carrying capacity. Based off of this, we can find the growth rate of a population. Based off of prior knowledge, we know that the world's annual growth rate is around 1.13% right now, which equals about 80 million people. But compared to Norway's growth rate, which is around 0.0546, we know that Norway is growing at a much slower rate than the world, and for obvious reasons, which will be explained. If we were to analyze the data in terms that are more comprehensible, we can say that what will the population be in 4 years, in 2020? Since we only did it to 2010, we can base off of 10 years. But we can predict the population in the future based off of the logistic regression that we were given. So the predicted population in 2020, if we put the 2020 year into our function for x, would be that Norway is at 5.49 million in 2020. And then the second question, if Norway's population were to double in size, would be if our population in 2010 is 4.89, that double is 9.78. We put that in for the y to figure out what's the output, how long does it take to get to 9.78, and we figured out that it's around 159.1 years to get to a 9.78 million. And this is because Norway's population growth is not very much, so it'll take a long time to get up to that point. So Norway has long coastlines and vast forests, which has transported itself from a fishing and lumbering country to an advanced westernized country. It's become very westernized, and there's a lot of technology over there, and they're very prosperous. The only problem is they have a small population and a restrictive immigration policy, which doesn't allow many people to go and come, uh, move out of the country. Uh, Also, due to Norway's far northern location and mountainous landscape, as seen in the picture behind this text, we can see that the country has the lowest population density in continental Europe, with only 11 persons per square kilometer. Norway is located in Scandinavia, in the northern region of Europe. Temperatures in this region get down to below freezing, and it's pretty bad, affecting many people's desire to come to this region of the world. Okay, so now those are the bad things, but Norway is good in some aspects. Norway has a life expectancy of around 82 for both genders. Now, this is huge. Like, life expectancy of 82 is 15 years more than the average age in the United States. With less people, teachers are more abundant, and the Nordic intelligently provides a place for everyone, for all children and adults with various talents and ability levels. With this increased attention towards each student, their standardized test scores in Norway are much higher, and they're ranked in the top 10 in the world for their education. Norway strives for economic, social, and gender equality, and their wealth is very well balanced. Public and health services are free in Norway, and the Norwegians enjoy a highly developed welfare system. Campfires.